Have you ever felt the sting of betrayal, the silent pain of seeing your energy, creativity, and efforts taken by others, only for them to claim the glory? Perhaps you've stood in the shadows, watching as those who manipulated and exploited you built their empires, flaunting success that was never truly theirs. It's a universal story of injustice, one that stirs frustration and longing for something greater, a reckoning, a restoration, a return to balance. But take heart, for this is not the end of your story. What was taken from you was not forgotten. It was not lost in the vast expanse of time and suffering. Instead, it has been meticulously recorded by divine hands. And now the scales of justice are tipping. This is not merely a tale of loss and suffering. It is one of revelation, restoration, and triumph. In the 6 chapters that follow, we will explore a journey of divine justice, where lies are exposed, false empires crumble, and the stolen truth is returned in greater measure. This is a story about more than the downfall of the deceitful. It is about the rise of the chosen ones, those whose light was hidden but never extinguished. We will begin with the unveiling of the stolen truth and the fragile foundations of the false empire, before witnessing the precise and unyielding action of divine justice. From there, we will delve into the restoration of the chosen, exploring how their gifts are returned, amplified, and transformed into a force of unstoppable power. Their role as both witnesses and participants in this divine narrative will become clear, as will the lessons learned from the collapse of those who sought to exploit them. Finally, we will celebrate the rise of the chosen ones, a rise rooted not in vengeance but in the enduring truth of God's plan. This is not just a story. It is a testament to the eternal balance of creation, the power of truth, and the unstoppable force of divine justice. Prepare to be inspired, to find hope, and to see that no matter how dark the night, the dawn always comes. Let us begin. 1. The stolen truth and the false empire. In this divine narrative, a profound truth emerges. Those who have built their success by exploiting the energy, creativity, and efforts of others are standing on borrowed time. They have constructed empires not with their own merit, but with the stolen essence of others, using manipulation, deceit, and exploitation as their tools. Their rise appears grand, their achievements celebrated, but beneath the surface lies a fragile foundation built on lies and theft. This is not merely a tale of greed, but a testament to the inevitability of justice, a justice that operates beyond human understanding and within the divine order of the universe. The metaphor of building a house on sand encapsulates their predicament perfectly. Like sand shifting beneath a structure, their foundation was never meant to endure. Their accomplishments, which they touted as the fruits of their labor, were never genuinely theirs. Instead, they were crafted from what was unjustly taken, leaving the true owners in the shadows, overlooked and undervalued. This false empire thrives temporarily, giving the illusion of stability and permanence, but its end is as certain as the tides that wear away at its base. Throughout history and scripture, examples abound of such stolen truths and false kingdoms. One such illustration is the story of Jacob and Esau in the Bible. Jacob, through deceit, took Esau's blessing, a blessing meant for the firstborn, while Jacob experienced temporary gains. The repercussions of his actions reverberated through his life, causing division and struggle. Similarly, the individuals or systems that exploit others' gifts and claim them as their own may rise momentarily, but their triumphs are fleeting. The blessings they usurped are not sustainable because they were never theirs to claim. What these false empires fail to understand is that truth has a power of its own. It cannot be permanently suppressed or stolen. The energy they siphoned, the creativity they drained, and the trust they betrayed are not resources they can endlessly consume without consequence. This exploitation creates a ticking time bomb within their success, a latent flaw that grows with every false step they take. The more they build upon stolen energy, the more unstable their empire becomes, and eventually, it must collapse. This collapse is not random. It is the manifestation of divine justice. God's justice operates beyond the limits of human timing, but is precise and unerring. These false builders may have enjoyed their ill-gotten success, believing themselves invincible. But the divine scales are always in motion. What they fail to understand is that the energy they took from others is sacred. It carries a divine purpose and cannot be used without reverence. Their theft is not just a violation of trust. It is a desecration of something profoundly holy. When a structure built on deceit begins to fall, it doesn't merely crumble quietly. The collapse is often dramatic and undeniable, a spectacle for all to witness. This is because the exposure of their falsehood is as much a part of divine justice as the restoration of what was stolen. The light of truth does not just reveal what was taken. It dismantles the illusions created by the lies. What remains is a stark contrast between the authentic and the fraudulent, a testimony to the enduring power of truth. The stolen truth and false empire narrative is not just about retribution, but also about revelation. It serves as a reminder that no matter how convincing a lie may seem, it can never stand indefinitely against the weight of truth. The individuals or systems that thrive on manipulation are destined to face the consequences of their actions. Their rise was never sustainable because it was rooted in deception, and their fall is inevitable because it is part of a divine rebalancing. This story also serves as a lesson for those who feel wronged, who have seen their energy and creativity taken without acknowledgement or gratitude. It is a message of hope and reassurance. The justice of God is at work, even when it is not immediately visible. The false empires may seem strong now, but their foundations are already cracking. The truth, which was once suppressed, will emerge with unrelenting force, and the restoration will be greater than anything previously imagined. In the end, what was stolen will return to its rightful owners, stronger and more purified than before. The collapse of the false empire is not just the end of deceit, but the beginning of a new chapter for those who endured its theft. Their energy, once taken to build another's success, will now be used to create something authentic, something enduring. This is the promise of divine justice, a justice that not only corrects wrongs but restores balance, ensuring that truth and righteousness prevail in the end. 2. Divine justice in action. Divine justice is a force that transcends human understanding, a perfect balance that operates beyond the limitations of time, culture, or circumstance. It is not reactionary or haphazard, but deliberate, precise, and unyielding in its purpose. When divine justice begins to act, it doesn't simply punish wrongdoing. It restores balance, exposes truth, and elevates those who have suffered unjustly. This section explores how divine justice works and the profound impact it has on both those who perpetrate harm and those who endure it. The essence of divine justice lies in its timing. While human justice is often bound by immediacy and urgency, divine justice works within a greater framework of cosmic order. It waits, observing and recording every act of exploitation, every moment of deceit, and every misuse of power. Its patience is not passivity but precision, ensuring that when justice is served, it is undeniable and transformative. For those who have been wronged, this waiting can feel unbearable, a prolonged period of suffering and silence. Yet, this waiting is not in vain. It is the foundation upon which a greater restoration is built. When divine justice acts, it does so with a clarity that leaves no room for doubt. It dismantles the carefully constructed lies of the oppressors, exposing their wrongdoing not only to the victims but also to the world. This exposure is often dramatic, a spectacle that reveals the full extent of their manipulation and theft. The false empires they built, supported by stolen energy and suppressed truth, begin to crumble under the weight of their deceit. What was hidden in darkness is brought into the light, and the illusion they worked so hard to maintain is shattered. This collapse is not just about punishment. It is a reordering of what was wrongfully taken and misplaced. The energy they siphoned, the creativity they stole, and the trust they betrayed are sacred. These elements were not merely resources for personal gain, but gifts meant to fulfill divine purposes. By exploiting these gifts, the oppressors not only harmed others, but also violated the natural order established by God. Divine justice ensures that these sacred elements are returned to their rightful owners, purified and strengthened by the trials they endured. For those who exploited others, divine justice is unrelenting. It dismantles their achievements piece by piece, not out of cruelty, but as a consequence of their own actions. Like a house built on sand, their false empire was always destined to fall. Every lie, every manipulation, and every act of theft becomes a crack in their foundation. And when the storm of justice arrives, their entire structure collapses. This fall is not just physical or material, it is deeply personal. It strips away their illusions of power and exposes the emptiness of their success. The public nature of this collapse serves a greater purpose. It is a revelation of truth, a demonstration that no lie can endure indefinitely. The world sees the reality behind the facade, and those who once admired the oppressors begin to question their loyalty and complicity. The downfall of these false empires is a reminder to all that no amount of manipulation or exploitation can sustain true power. It is a warning to those who might follow in their footsteps and a reassurance to those who have been wronged that justice is inevitable. For the victims, divine justice is both a vindication and a restoration. It is a confirmation that their suffering was not ignored, that every moment of pain and loss was seen and accounted for. Their energy, once taken to fuel another's rise, returns to them with renewed purpose and strength. This is not merely a restoration of what was lost, but an amplification of it. The trials they endured have refined their gifts, making them stronger and more resilient. Their rise is not just a return to balance, but a leap into a greater destiny. This process is beautifully illustrated in Scripture. The story of Job, who lost everything only to have it restored twofold, is a testament to the power of divine justice. His suffering was not without purpose, and his restoration was not merely a replacement but an elevation. Similarly, those who have been wronged in this narrative are not just returning to where they were before the injustice. They are being lifted to new heights, their blessings multiplied, their purpose clarified, and their strength renewed. Divine justice is a force that cannot be manipulated or avoided. It operates according to the laws of truth and righteousness, ensuring that every action has a consequence. Those who exploit and harm others may appear to thrive for a time, but their success is temporary. The energy they stole carries within it the seeds of their own downfall. Meanwhile, those who suffered are being prepared for a greater purpose. Their pain is not meaningless. It is the crucible that shapes them into vessels of divine power and grace. Ultimately, divine justice serves as a reminder of the eternal principles that govern creation. It assures us that no lie can stand forever, no theft goes unnoticed, and no act of goodness is forgotten. For those who endure injustice, it is a promise of restoration and victory. For those who perpetrate harm, it is a warning that their actions will inevitably return to them. And for all who witness it, divine justice is a testament to the enduring power of truth and the unwavering order of God's creation. 3. Restoration and reward for the chosen. Restoration is not merely the act of returning what was lost. It is a divine process that transforms, multiplies, and amplifies what was unjustly taken. For those who have been exploited, marginalized, or drained of their energy by deceitful forces, the promise of restoration is not just about reclaiming the past, but stepping into a brighter, stronger, and more abundant future. The chosen ones, those whose light and gifts were taken for the gain of others, are destined not only for restoration, but for an elevation that exceeds all expectations. In the grand design of divine justice, restoration begins with the recognition of what was taken. It's a process that acknowledges the pain, loss, and injustice endured by those who were wronged. For the chosen ones, this means seeing the truth of their role in the success of others, understanding that their energy was the foundation upon which false empires were built. It's a powerful revelation, one that transforms feelings of defeat into the realization of their immense worth and potential. This is not a restoration of equality alone. It is a restoration of identity and purpose. The chosen ones are reminded of their inherent value, their divine gifts, and the unique role they play in God's plan. Their creativity, strength, and energy, once siphoned away by others, are returned in abundance. This is not a simple transaction. It is a divine amplification, The trials they endured while their gifts were misused served to refine and strengthen them. What returns is not merely what was lost, but a more powerful, more vibrant version of it. Scripture provides profound examples of this divine process. Job, who endured unimaginable losses, was not only restored but blessed with twice as much as he had before. His restoration was not just about material wealth, but a reaffirmation of his place in God's plan. Similarly, Isaiah promises, "Instead of your shame, you will receive a double portion, and instead of disgrace, you will rejoice in your inheritance." For the chosen ones, this restoration is a testament to God's faithfulness and the unshakable truth that He sees and rewards those who remain steadfast. Restoration also brings with it a redefinition of power. The chosen ones, once used as mere resources by those who sought to elevate themselves, now stand in their full strength. Their energy, creativity, and gifts are no longer tools for others to exploit, but blessings that propel them into their true destiny. This shift is profound. It marks the end of the old order, where the chosen were overshadowed and undervalued, and the beginning of a new chapter where their light shines freely and powerfully. This reward is not limited to the return of what was stolen. It extends into new opportunities, new blessings, and new heights of achievement. The chosen ones are not just restored but elevated, placed in positions where their gifts can flourish and inspire. Their stories become testimonies, their victories symbols of God's justice and grace. What they once lost is now a foundation for something greater, a legacy that cannot be taken or diminished. The process of restoration also serves as a reminder of the divine balance in creation. Those who took from the chosen ones, who built their success on lies and theft, are now facing the collapse of their false empires. This reversal is not merely about justice for the oppressors, but about creating space for the chosen to rise. As their energy returns to them, they are empowered to build their own empires, ones founded on truth, authenticity, and divine purpose. This transformation is not merely about material gain or personal success. It is deeply spiritual. It is about stepping into a destiny that was always theirs, but temporarily obscured by the actions of others. The chosen ones, through their trials and restoration, become vessels of divine grace and power. Their lives are living proof of God's justice, a beacon of hope for those who may still be in the midst of their struggles. The reward for the chosen is not just external, it is internal. It is a restoration of peace, confidence, and purpose. It is the healing of wounds, the lifting of burdens, and the renewal of their spirit. They are no longer defined by what was taken from them, but by what they have become. Their transformation is complete, and their future is secure in the hands of a God who restores and multiplies. Ultimately, the restoration and reward of the chosen are about more than individual vindication. It is a declaration of the divine order, a reminder that no injustice goes unnoticed and no suffering is wasted. It is a promise that God's justice is perfect, His timing is flawless, and His plans for His chosen ones are always for their good. As the chosen rise, they do so not out of vengeance, but in celebration of the truth that their destiny has always been in God's hands. This restoration is not just a return to what was, but a leap into a future filled with purpose, power, and divine favor. 4. The role of the chosen ones. The chosen ones are not mere victims of exploitation or passive observers of divine justice. They are central figures in the unfolding of God's plan. Their role extends beyond endurance and survival to embodying truth, resilience, and restoration in the grand tapestry of divine justice. The chosen are both witnesses and participants, standing as living testimonies to the power of righteousness and the inevitability of truth. Their journey, though marked by trials and loss, ultimately reveals the strength and purpose that have been divinely instilled within them. At the heart of their role is the recognition of their worth. The chosen ones are often the unseen cornerstones, the vital energy and creativity upon which others have built their success. For a long time, they may not have realized this truth, as their gifts were overshadowed, their contributions unacknowledged. The deception of those who exploited them sought to diminish their light and suppress their potential. Yet, The chosen were never truly diminished. Their light remained, waiting for the moment when it would shine without hindrance. This recognition of worth is transformative. It is a shift from seeing oneself as a victim to embracing one's identity as a vessel of divine power and purpose. The chosen ones come to understand that their energy, creativity, and resilience are not ordinary but sacred. They carry a divine imprint, a uniqueness that cannot be replicated or stolen. What was taken from them did not define their value. Rather, their value lies in the divine source of their gifts. This realization becomes the foundation for their role as active participants in the restoration process. As participants in divine justice, the chosen ones are called to stand firm in truth. They are not required to seek revenge or engage in battles against those who wrong them. The battle is the Lord's, and His justice is already at work. Instead, their role is to hold fast to their authenticity, refusing to be silenced or diminished by the falsehoods of others. Their truth is their greatest weapon, a light that exposes lies and dismantles illusions. In embracing their authenticity, the chosen ones disrupt the very foundation of the false empires built on their stolen energy. The chosen also serve as witnesses to the unfolding of divine justice. They are positioned to see the collapse of the false structures that once oppressed them, not out of a desire for vindictive satisfaction, but as confirmation of God's power and faithfulness. Their role as witnesses is significant, for it is through their testimony that others come to see the inevitability of justice and the futility of deceit. The chosen ones are living proof that truth prevails, that what was stolen is restored, and that no lie can stand forever. In their role, the chosen are also called to rise, not merely to reclaim what was lost, but to step into a greater purpose. Restoration is not about returning to the past. It is about moving forward with renewed strength and clarity. The chosen ones are equipped to build their own legacies, free from the shadows of exploitation and falsehood. Their rise is not just a personal triumph, but a testament to the power of divine justice. It is a declaration that what is built on truth and righteousness will endure. The chosen ones also carry a responsibility to inspire and guide others. Their journey, though painful, becomes a source of hope for those still trapped in cycles of manipulation and deceit. By standing in their truth and embracing their restored energy, the chosen show others that it is possible to overcome, to heal, and to thrive. Their role extends beyond their own restoration. It is a call to be lights in the darkness, guiding others toward truth and wholeness. This role is not without challenges. The chosen ones must navigate the lingering effects of their experiences, the temptation to harbor resentment, and the fear of stepping fully into their power. Yet, their journey is also one of profound healing and transformation. They are not alone. The same divine justice that restores them also equips them for the path ahead. With each step, they grow stronger, more confident, and more attuned to their purpose. Ultimately, the chosen ones are more than survivors of exploitation. They are catalysts for change and vessels of divine truth. Their role is a sacred one, imbued with purpose and power. Through their journey, they demonstrate that no matter how deeply one is wronged, restoration is possible, and victory is assured. Their lives are living proof of the divine balance that governs creation, a reminder that what was meant for harm is always turned for good in the hands of God. As they rise, they embody the fulfillment of God's promise that the last shall be first, the oppressed shall be elevated, and the truth shall set them free. 5. The collapse of the deceivers. The collapse of those who built their empires on deception, exploitation, and stolen energy is an inevitable act of divine justice. It is not a punishment born of anger, but a necessary reordering of truth and balance. These individuals, who manipulated others to elevate themselves, created a foundation so fragile that it was destined to crumble under the weight of its own falsehood. What they perceived as strength and success was merely a temporary illusion, one that could never withstand the scrutiny of truth. For years, the deceivers thrived on a facade of power. They crafted narratives of hard work and ingenuity, presenting themselves as self-made architects of their own success. Yet, beneath this image was the reality of theft and manipulation. They did not rise through their own merit, but through the energy, creativity, and trust they siphoned from others. Their achievements were a reflection of what they had taken, not what they had earned. Like parasites, they fed off the gifts and brilliance of others, never considering the consequences of their actions. Their arrogance blinded them to the precariousness of their position. They mistook temporary success for permanence. Believing that their lies could go undetected indefinitely, they assumed that the energy they stole was theirs to keep, failing to understand that what is stolen can never truly belong to them. This misunderstanding was their greatest flaw, for it led them to build on a foundation that was inherently unstable. A house built on sand may stand for a time, but when the storms of truth and justice come, it cannot endure. The storm of divine justice arrives with precision, dismantling the illusions they created. Every lie, every act of deceit, and every stolen moment becomes a crack in their empire. And when the weight becomes too great, the entire structure collapses. This collapse is not random or chaotic. It is deliberate and just. It serves as both a consequence of their actions and a revelation of the truth they tried so desperately to hide. The world sees the reality behind their success, and the false narratives they crafted are exposed for what they truly are. The public nature of their downfall is significant. It is not meant to humiliate, but to illuminate. By exposing their lies, divine justice sends a message to all who witness it. Nothing built on falsehood can last. Their collapse is a testimony to the power of truth, a reminder that deception may thrive for a season, but will ultimately be undone. Those who once admired or supported the deceivers begin to see through their facade, realizing that they were complicit in a false narrative. The deceivers are left isolated, their reputations destroyed, and their power stripped away. This collapse is more than a loss of status or material wealth. It is the unraveling of their identity. The deceivers define themselves by their false achievements, clinging to the illusion of greatness they built on stolen energy. When that illusion crumbles, they are forced to confront the emptiness of their existence. Their power, which once seemed unshakable, is revealed to be hollow, a fleeting shadow of what they pretended it to be. They are left with nothing but the consequences of their actions and the knowledge that their empire was never truly theirs. The story of their downfall is not just one of justice, but also one of cosmic balance. Energy, much like justice, cannot be stolen without consequence. What was taken unjustly will always return to its rightful owner, leaving the thief with nothing but the destruction they have wrought. This principle is echoed throughout Scripture, such as in Proverbs 26 verse 27. Whoever digs a pit will fall into it. If someone rolls a stone, it will roll back on them. The deceivers set their own trap through their greed, and now they must face the repercussions. The collapse of the deceivers is also a profound moment of restoration for those they exploited. As the stolen energy returns to its rightful owners, the chosen ones are empowered to rise. The false empires that once overshadowed them are no longer a threat, and the truth of their contributions comes to light. The deceiver's loss becomes the chosen one's gain, a divine realignment that restores balance and justice. The chosen are no longer in the shadows. They are free to step into their purpose without the burden of manipulation or theft. This moment of collapse is not merely an ending but a revelation. It reveals the futility of building on lies, the power of truth, and the unshakable nature of divine justice. For the deceivers, it is a reckoning. For the chosen, it is a liberation. Their fall is not just the result of divine justice. It is proof of its perfection. The deceiver's temporary rise serves as a stark contrast to the enduring strength of truth, a reminder that no empire built on stolen energy can stand against the weight of authenticity. As their false kingdoms crumble, the deceivers are left with nothing but the ruins of their deception. Their downfall is not just a consequence. It is a testament to the eternal principles of justice and balance. What was stolen is returned. What was hidden is revealed. And what was false is destroyed. In this collapse, the chosen ones are vindicated, and the enduring power of truth is affirmed. The deceiver's story ends in ruin, but for the chosen, it marks the beginning of a new chapter, one rooted in authenticity, strength, and divine purpose. 6. The rise of the chosen ones. As the false empires of the deceivers crumble, the chosen ones step into their moment of restoration, transformation, and ascension. This is not merely a return to what was stolen. It is the beginning of a new chapter defined by power, purpose, and divine favor. Their rise is not an act of vengeance, but a testament to the enduring strength of truth and the unwavering justice of God. What was once hidden, suppressed, and undervalued now becomes the foundation of an extraordinary elevation.